Okay, so very good morning to everyone. I think the last class, the introductory class of database or SQL, you can say, is pretty much good or understand by you all. Okay, so now today we are starting from the beginning of SQL and database both. Today we are going to discuss about SQL, why we use SQL, what are the benefits of using SQL, and is only SQL the relational database, and any other things is related to SQL. Then we will going for the database. Okay, what is a database, or when we perform SQL, what is the behind process when we do SQL? Means step by step, when developer, backend tester, SQL table creation, when we do what is actual perform day by day. Then we are going to discuss about schema in detail way. Okay, last class I just told you the relationship or the elements between table, rows, columns, and all the things, the structure, organized structure of visualization, that is called schema. But today, I would like to draw some pictures, and obviously that we doing project on COVID-19. Okay, so respect to that project, what kind of schema it would be like when we do it on SQL. Okay, then at last we will move on for the some special, not some special, the some important uh, SQL constants, you can say SQL keyword, means select, update, delete, insert, create, what actually they do. Okay, what their meaning, or some important things for the SQL, this type of keyword or constants, you can say. So this is for today. Okay, I'm starting from the first about SQL. Okay, so tell me one thing, that already I am giving the name of previous class. SQL is structured query language. Okay, and please making notes. Okay, because I am not giving some formatted handwritten or PDF versions of note, but I am already discussed about all notes. Okay, so SQL stands for structured query.
Sir, this is my first class.
Okay, who is this?
Pallavi.
Oh, Pallavi. Okay, okay, Pallavi. Though not any issue, because last class we are just discussing about SQL and the basic things. Okay, what the database is king, what is the DDL, DML. I will repeat it today. No issue. Okay, so just you, it is used that for the first time in today's class, and you assume that it is a first of the session of SQL. Okay, no issue. You can understand all. So SQL is structured query language. This is the full form of SQL. Now tell me, who introduced SQL? I'm not want the name of the scientist or the developer. You can only say which organization. Can
Oracle,
anyone know?
Oracle.
Sir, Oracle.
Which organization first introduced SQL? Oracle. Oracle is a
Yeah,
server, SQL server. I am actually want, see, this is the user, and there are SQL, the language SQL, and there are some SQL servers that you can use. Oracle, MySQL, SQL server. Okay, then PGSQL. These things are there, but I am actually wanted the name of the organization that first introduced SQL, or you can say the scientists, those who are related to introduce the SQL language, from where or which organization they are. IBM is the first one who introduced SQL in 1970. 1970s. I'm not exactly recall the name of the scientist. You can search in the Google. Anyone can search in the Google that who first introduced the SQL. Okay, that is IBM, and organization name, and some of the scientists are there. Two scientists, I think, Russo or something, that kind of name. And 1970s they introduced the SQL, means SQL language. Okay. Then there are different type of servers. Oracle server also there. Then there are SQL server also there. Then there are MySQL server or PGSQL, right? I am drawing again the structure user. Okay. This thing, sorry. This is the language. This one, this one, this one, Oracle and SQL server. SQL own has SQL server, one thing. Then MySQL also. Then you can say PGSQL. Okay. So these things are there for the SQL. Okay. Now, okay, clear everyone from this?
Yes, sir.
Please take a note. When I am saying you or I am sharing something in my screen or writing, please do note with me. Okay. So this is the
Okay.
SQL thing. Now tell me, what is the name of SQL in previous? Can anyone know?
Yes.
SQL.
Yes, SQL. What is the spelling? SEQUEL. This is the actual name when it builds or it is introduced. What is the full form? Whoever give the answer can say. Structured
English query language.
English query language. This is the previous name of SQL. SEQUEL. S for stands for structured, E stands for English, QUE is query, and L for language. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So another one, SQL is a, so first one is SQL is a structured query language. Okay. Second is SQL previous name structured English query language. Third point is SQL introduced in 1970s by the organization IBM, and there are some scientists related to that who are actually introduced SQL. Fourth point is SQL is called that is discussed in the last class. SQL is related to RDBMS, means relational database management system. Clear? So the next point is SQL is related to RDBMS, relational database management system. So SQL is relational database management system. Why? Because whenever we, okay, note it down. I'm saying whenever we store data in SQL, it stored in the particular database in a tabular format. Okay, in a tabular format where we can establish the relation between rows, columns, and tables. Clear? I'm repeating again. SQL is related to RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Okay. SQL is called relational database. Why? because whenever we store data in SQL, it actually stored in a tabular format where we can establish the relation between rows, columns, tables, and that is nothing else. So this is the SQL RDBMS. Okay, I'm discussed about the last class these things. I'm repeating again now. So now one more thing is there. Have you heard about non-procedural language? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, these things are covered, right? And remove it. Have anyone heard about the non-procedural language? Anyone? Please
Sir,
respond. Yes. Yes, tell me. Have you heard? Anyone?
No, sir.
no,
Okay, so
sir.
what is the non-procedural language? Actually, non-procedural. The naming is non-procedural language. Whenever there are some, moreover, I think 20 to 25 languages are there. Okay, so maximum languages are based on some different kind of purpose. If you, for the non-procedural language, whenever we do just query or execute query, whenever in SQL we execute query, we can't give or we don't mention any procedure, just like in C language. Okay, so whenever it is C language, just like what we can do, print if, then these things, then scan if, this thing percent d, enter the name, then whole procedure we just want to write, same as Fortran. Okay, same as Pascal. So there are some kind of language that are called procedural language. When for the procedural language, whenever we execute some queries, we have to mention some procedure format, or in a simple way you can say how the query will be executed, we have to mention it. Okay, but for the SQL, suppose there is a table. Okay, name, phone number, age, table name is person, dot 5 persons A, B, C, D, E. If I want just only name portion to be uh, as output, what we can say, what we can write, select, then what we can write, tell me.
Select name from
Select name from a person.
Select name from
From person.
person.
person. Okay, then semicolon. Is there, I mentioned the process how the name is extract from the person table.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
So SQL is a non-procedural language. Clear? But this thing, this type of table creation, this type of data entry, if we do in C, Fortran, Pascal, we have to mention step by step the name, how they can relate, how they can join, all the things. So C, Fortran, Pascal, more languages are there. I don't remember now, but these are the three main languages that are called non-procedural language, and SQL is a non-procedural language. Okay, so tell me one thing, Java and Python is procedural or non-procedural?
Schedule, sir.
Procedural. The procedure also.
Okay, little bit confusing. Okay, first of all, I comes from for Python. Okay, Python is obviously procedural, but Python both procedural and one more language is there.
Oops.
Object-oriented programming language. Java is not procedural. Java totally oops means object-oriented programming language. Okay, Python is both, you can say, procedural and we can say object-oriented programming language. So now you are here about three languages: procedural, non-procedural, and one more thing is object-oriented programming language. Clear? Clear, everyone? Till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am removing it. I think all over you note it down. Okay. So non-procedural also completed. Now, tell me again, SQL is case sensitive or non-case sensitive?
Case sensitive.
SQL case sensitive.
Case sensitive.
Case sensitive or not case sensitive? Tell me.
Case sensitive.
Case sensitive, sir.
Okay. Others?
Case sensitive, sir.
Case
Not
sensitive.
case sensitive.
In how you can say the case sensitive?
Because we can write upperclass and we can use upperclass and lowercase character.
We can use uppercase and lowercase both, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually, the thing is, SQL case sensitivity is upon depend the SQL server. Okay. Actually, SQL is not case sensitive because we can write in uppercase, lowercase both. Okay. If someone there is a table name person P capital, we can write P small. Okay. But whenever SQL server is there, you have to write exact P capital or E capital or S capital. That's it. So SQL case sensitivity is depends upon the server platform. One more thing is the SQL have mentioned this semicolon in every server, but in PostgreSQL you can left it. So case sensitivity and semicolon things, these two things, you can depend or you can say that it will be depend upon SQL platforms, server platforms, MySQL, SQL Server, PCSQL, SQLite. So Oracle also there. Oracle must be this mentioned. Okay, MySQL also there. So this is the things. Okay, one more is there. It's not recommended to try it deeply. SQL is a CLI language. Okay. Can you or anyone heard about it? What is CLI language or why SQL is called CLI language? Because whenever SQL is a CLI language for the purpose of CLI language is we can easily communicate with the database, that is RDBMS structure. Okay, just remind that if in a CLI language we can easily connect to the programming interface or database interface in any environment. Okay, any relational database environment we can connect easily. So SQL is called CLI language. So these things are there about SQL. Now tell me if anyone have any query about SQL basics or SQL naming. Okay.
No queries, sir.
Okay. Anyone others, please tell me.
No, sir.
Okay. So I'm repeating the last something because there are some new students. So SQL sub languages. Write it down. DDL, DML, DQL, DCL, TCL. DDL, data definition. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Data definition language. Data manipulation language. All these things are same data. Sorry, this is a transaction. And this is query. Language is same. This is control. This is same. This is also control. This is same. So DDL is data definition language, DML is data manipulation language, DQL is data query language, DCL is data control language, TCL is transaction control language. Those who are new for today, please write it down as fast as possible because we are moving for the example. Okay. So DDL. The examples are create. First of all, why DDL or what DDL actually tells? DDL is the language that define the database structure. Okay, that define the database structure or schema. Define database structure. Okay. So what is the constants or the keyword that is used for DDL? Create, then drop, then this is A, alter, then rename, then truncate, then one we can say comment, not commit. Okay, that is comment. So DDL define the database structure or schema. What are the main things? You can say create, drop, alter, rename, truncate, comment. Okay, please note it down. Do not note last class, please note it down. Now DML, data manipulation language. Okay, what actually it does? It actually managing, retrieving, what is this? Then you can say inserting like all three things is in a single word, manipulating. Manipulating data from the database. And obviously within the schema object means the table, wherever the name is there, wherever the any other record is put in your table, that will be manipulated by this type of DML languages. Okay, what are the constants that is used? Mainly insert, update, delete. Now tell me, is there anything I left or not for DML? Anyone?
No, sir.
Data query language. Okay, use for query execution. What is the example of data query language?
Select.
Yes. Select is data query language used for query execution. Okay. Because whenever we do select name from table, that is I want the query, that is I want the fetch the names from the table. So select will be the keyword or the constants that we used as DQL that will give us the output for the perfect query. So a select is the data query language. Okay. Now middle one, data control language. What are the examples of DCL?
Grant and revoke.
Yes. Why it is called DCL? Because controlling the data sets flow, input, output, or manipulation. Because grant, I think you already all of you hear about grant permission, revoke permission. So this like control statement, okay, for the database. So DCL actually grant and revoke, these constants are used as DCL data control language that is performed for controlling the database objects. So grant and revoke. Now the next one, TCL, transaction control language. Same like DCL, but you cannot say the same. What are the examples? Commit. In the DDL, that is comment. This is commit. Rollback. Save point. What it do? It does for controlling the transaction flow of a database for the temporary purpose. Okay. It control the transaction flow of a database for temporary purpose. Commit, rollback, save point. Transaction control language. Clear all of you? What type of languages are there? Yes? Any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
So please repeat TCL.
TCL or DCL?
Or
This one.
TCL.
TCL. Okay. Okay. DCL means in your database when you're working with the DCL, because there lot of similarities are there. I am just creating you some differentiate. Okay. So DCL, when you working with the database, if not grant permission for adding or updating or manipulating the data in your database, present database. But TCL actually, suppose there is a particular portion are there in your database, means first 50, first 20 datas are there, or column or tables are there. If you have to be performed a save point for the temporary purpose, means suppose you are working on update or deletion of first 50 data sets, okay, just click on save point. Then for the temporary purpose, when you came back, the next process or next work you can do temporarily, it control the transaction flow of a database. Okay, so this is called transaction control language. But DCL is equal to data control language. It actually provided the permission. Yes, we can input. Yes, we can manipulate the data in your database. Grant permission, revoke permission. That type of thing is happen with DCL. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If complete, please tell me. I will clear my screen.
Completed, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me why we use SQL. If your interviewer asks you that why we use SQL or what SQL can do, what will be your answer? What SQL can do, what will be your answer?
So SQL can structure the data in a tabular form.
That is the basic SQL definition, you can say. Okay. First thing, SQL, not, I'm not mentioning SQL repeating, just create database. Next point. Previously, you can add SQL can. Okay, SQL can create database, SQL can create tables. Then execute.
Can perform operation in SQL by
Yes.
retrieving. Yeah.
Execute queries against database. And the point that he told, that perform operation means insert, or you can say insertion, insert, update, delete, retrieve data from database. Okay. And any more?
Security.
Yes, you can say security. Provide data security. Okay. And again, you can say set permission, that I already told you, revoke and grant. Set permission on table, comma, procedure, you can say. You can ask, sir, SQL is a non-procedural language, but where is procedure? Procedure means not that procedure, means how you can give output or get output for particular query, update, okay, manipulate. So these things are mentioned for the procedure. Here, set permissions on table, procedure, and obviously views in a database. Views in a database means when you find or search any table, how it look like. That also performed by SQL. So note it down why we use SQL or is what SQL can do. One minute. Okay, everyone done? Please tell me. I will clear my screen. Okay, okay, okay. Please respond, guys, with me. It will be very much helpful that you understand or not. It will be a very interactive class. Okay, please respond with me. Now, so SQL basic things, SQL sublanguages. Why are the SQL renamed for so many languages and SQL? What type of things are there? We understand, and why we use SQL, we also understand. Now, some little bit brief on database. Okay, am I not actually putting deeply in database normalization? That thing that is a different part. Database is not data analyst. In data analyst, not database. That thing is required. Whatever required for database in for data analyst, I am just giving you some brief. Okay, you can heading this thing basic technology of SQL. You can write these things. Okay. Now tell me, what is a data with respect to SQL? You can say.
Data is a raw materials, which is just like information about some person or some
Okay.
data. And
Okay.
example is image, video, some text message. Those are the data.
Okay. So in a simple word, data is a raw material that is involved in surroundings of us, and we can collect wherever or whichever we can collect the information, that is called data, right?
Object related any information, if we
Yes,
need to
yes.
store in database, then it's called data.
So if in a structured way, if anyone asks you what is data, I'm writing the definition and hope you not forgot in your life. Okay, so piece of valuable collection of information piece of valuable collection of information that is used to describe the real world object is called data. Data is a piece of valuable collection of information that is used to describe the real world object is called data. Clear? Now tell me, what is a database?
When we store the data, it's called database.
Collection of data.
Yes, whenever we store data in a particular platform or particular place, we can say that it is a database. Or if the actual definition you want, you can say that whenever or where we can store data in a organized manner,
Yeah.
or you can say it is a database. Okay, where we can store data in a organized manner. That is called database. Okay, if you want to add one more thing, you can add. Okay, I'm starting. It is stored in a, wait a minute. It is stored electron of, एक 1 minute. Okay, it is stored electronically in computer system. Okay, you can just add these things if actually database you can write, but in my opinion it is enough for where we can store data in an organized manner. That is called database. Okay, so
Sir, what you are
yes,
writing in last point, the electronically in what is called?
computer systems co.sy, because phone book obviously a database, so that is not in computer system. So that's why I'm just start it. If you think you can write. So this is a database. Now database, RDBMS, relational database management system, then non RDBMS, that is MongoDB. One example, I'm skipping on it, skipping that portion. Okay, not dividing the RDBMS, DBMS. Now moving on to the RDBMS SQL portion. Tables. What is tables, entity, and object? Okay, tables, entity, or you can say table, entity, objects. It's not like definition. You can note the some points, valuable points for these things. Just a second. Okay, table, entity, object. My voice is audible to you, right? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Table, entity, object. Okay. So first point, table. Okay. It is a combination of
Field.
rows and columns. Okay. It also called as entity, or you can say objects. Row is also called objects or field. These things are there. Okay. Columns also called, I think, entity or attributes in the
Columns
machinery
field is
language.
field, sir.
Column is called, row is
Field.
called, row is
Column is
called.
called for, yes, sir.
Please check again if I'm not wrong. Column,
Yes,
row
sir.
is called.
Column is called field.
Oh, okay. 1 minute. Entity, attributes or field, that is called column.
Yeah.
My mistake is there.
Yes, yes, sir.
And you can say is object field. Okay. So So that is called row and column. But the main thing, cell, you can be denote as cell, the intersection point. Okay, these things is the intersection point of this column, this row. Same as this also the intersection point of this column, this row. Same as this, same as this, same as this. So cell, this is actually a cell. This little bit portion, you can call these cells as the intersection point of rows and columns. Okay, so there are some little bit basic knowledge of table, entity, field, object, cell. Combination of rows and columns called table, also called entity object. Rows is called object field, column is called entity attribute or field. Cell is the intersection point of rows and columns. This is the basic knowledge of SQL tables. Now coming forward to the schema. Okay. I think it is done. Remove it. Schema. If someone or interviewer wants you the definition of a schema, you can just simply tell him or tell her, schema refers to the logical and visual configuration of entire relational database, because non-relational database have not any schema. Whenever you do work in database server, MySQL or SQL, there is option schema. You can see here visual configuration, and how visual configuration look like, I will describe it in a pictorial way. But logical way, you can know that what actually the tables, rows, columns, how they related to things. So these things are called schema. Schema refers to the logical and visual configuration of the entire relational database. Okay. Now I am drawing a picture. Okay. Already you write it. Definition of schema. Please everyone tell
Yes,
me.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Everyone do it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am just drawing a picture. How the visual schema, means the visual representation of schema, look like. So we are doing the project on COVID-19 data analysis, right? So suppose this is a SQL table. Worldwide COVID-19 data. And what are the points are there? Means column, the topics, region, then confirmed cases, then active cases. Okay. Then suppose death, then suppose mortality rate. These things are there. Table name is World COVID-19. Okay. There are another thing, another table. 1, 2, 3. India COVID-19, US COVID-19, and supposed to be whatever country you can say. Little bit Sri Lanka. Okay. Sri Lanka's COVID-19. Same points are there. A little bit more points you can add. So, wild COVID-19 is your main data set or is your main table. There you can create their subtable, or you can say 3 tables that is related to the main table. Okay, means these things happen. You can say this type of structure, you can say world COVID-19 has the record of all the regions, all the countries in the world that will supposed to be checked by the US region, the COVID confirmed cases, the active cases, death rate, mortality rate, same. Separately, when we separate these things, these tables by the region, then India, US, Sri Lanka, there are more countries. So they actually provided the same columns or same things table. There you can say these data are sub data of this main data table. One more thing is there, COVID vaccination. This is one more table. Okay. And there are some points. Date, affected case. Okay. Then death. Then you can say vaccination, uh, type, dose mentioned, first dose, second dose. These things are there. And this table is related to both 3 of all also and the main table also. You can relate what I am saying. If, because whenever you work in a database, there are not only single table, there are thousands of table are there. Okay, there are thousands of tables are there in a database. So whenever we work with a particular database, with a particular table, there some things have related to their subtable, or there are another table that is related to that particular previous table. So this is the connection establishing in a visual formation that is called schema in a visual way. I am showing you in Google also. Okay. So these things you can say the schema portion. Just a second. I'm searching in Google. Okay. Schema. Okay, my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a database. Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables. See, this is a product table. Okay, product table related to categories. Which type of product you send or purchase. Okay, there are also some group table. There are also some size table. Product is the main table. Okay, see, in this product there are title, there are gender, description, old price, sports, vendor, category, shop, time, zoom. So these things are there, but you can separately something putting the sports ID. Okay, so you can separate the sports product into a table, vendor product into a table. Okay, product has some respective columns, and you can desaturate the things with extract a particular column, and you can create your own table, product table linked with categories, group, sizes. In simple way, you can create from product table some subtables like category, group, sizes, gender, sports, vendor, shops. Okay, so whenever we search in product table some description, some queries, okay, these things are there. Gender, okay, let's check how many genders are actually there and which gender is actually buy or sell the product. So this the table you can find. Sports item or sports product, what is the details of sports product? What is the details of vendor, how many vendor buys, sales, and which type of product they actually buy. Then product, which shop actually purchased or buys the exact product. Then there is another sub column, that is shipment or pre-ships. Okay, minor price, minimum price, which region you are shipping the product, which region your shop is present, what is the minimum price of the shipping cost. This also can be transferred into a column. So product is a main table. There are some little bit tables in a database: gender, sports, vendor, shops, free ships, categories, groups, sizes, that are actually linked up with the main table. So these whole structure that you see is called the schema or database schema. There are many more schemas are there. Okay, just a second. My screen is visible, right? Yes. See this thing. I think user, film, defect, version, change list, activities, SCM, file matrix, coding, reviewing, role for the company purpose. User is the main table. How many user get assignment? Assignment has another table. Which assignment take which role, which phase, which review template, which comment, which defect. So all there are separate table, but all they are linked with each other with the main table. So this whole structure, how it is look like, is called database schema. Understand everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So this is the schema actual. Now comes upon the work process of database and SQL. Okay, means how the database actually collect data or transfer data to work with the SQL. First step, whenever or whoever is working with SQL, database developer. Okay, what actually he do? He will, he or she, okay, will create database and tables using SQL. It is his work. Okay, database developer who is working with SQL. SQL database developer actually do creating tables, creating database using SQL. Now comes after this the thing that is supposed to be know very much, database test engineer. Okay, DB, I'm writing DB test engineer. What actually DB do or DBTE do? DBTE means database test engineer. Do back end validation. Now, what is a back end validation? That is a big question. Okay, right? What is a back end validation? And can anyone give the answer? What is actually back end validation work? Okay,
No.
these things write down.
Do-
The two things: database developer, database test engineer.
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually showing the things respective SQL, because SQL, how actually the SQL server worker or SQL using worker, what actually step by step it's working in the database. First, database developer, he or she will create the database. Now database test engineer will do backend validation. So back end validation. To check whether the FE means front end. Okay, FE data means front end data is correctly stored in back end or not. Okay, so first comes front end, then back end validation, to check whether the front end data is correctly stored in back end or not. Right? Okay, so suppose there is a website. From that website, if user, any normal unknown user is used, okay, suppose there is a website that is actually work on SQL, and that is main database work is on SQL. So front end data, how collect the front end data things. There is a website link, any unknown user comes on the website. Okay, there is a first, I'm talking about unknown user, first time user. Okay, sign up or sign in. When you click on sign up, okay, a page comes forward to your screen. Full name, then okay, Sayam, you can go from full name, then last name. Okay, and there something restriction already, procedural revoking message already there. Suppose you cannot use any character in full name, You cannot use any character in last name. So these things are there. For when you click on sign up, these things appear. Then you can obviously have age like this. Then you can have country, region. Then you can have, okay, country. Then you can have contact number. Okay. Then there is a small checkbox, accept all the permission, and the previous data that I provide is absolutely correct. This type of things are there. Age, there are some age restriction also there. Whenever you can go in the website, little bit of 20, not less than 20 age, not less than 18 age, not less than 13 age are there. You can join is this website. Country specific, suppose India, UK, or Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, that's are provided. But Nepal and Tibet, okay, some restrict they provide. Okay, for the connector issue, if they provide here. For the contact number, +91 for India, +8, +0. I don't know for the whose country it is used, but this type of things are there. So this is a box when you click on sign up and filled all the boxes and then checked this. Then click on the save button or next button. Okay. So this is the first step when front-end data collect from the user and temporarily front-end stored the data in which format. I am showing it right now. This is the first step of collecting the data from the user. Then front-end data, maximum cases, these things are there, supposed to be happen. Front if name, L name, age, country, contact number. Then there will be option delete or block, you can say. So these in this format, not tabular format, okay, but in supposed to be list format, supposed to be non-organized way, front-end data stored the means front-end data stored the data, collecting the data from the user from the first step. This is the first step where user put their details in a website. Then this is the second step where user taking the user inputs and sorting in your own way front-end data temporarily stored in their system. Now comes upon back-end validation for the SQL server. Okay. So just a minute. Now they convert into tabular format. F name, L name, age, contact, country, whatever this is. First collect the data from the user, then temporarily front-end data, sorting it in his own way and click it or save it in their purpose, then move on it in the back-end validation where for the SQL server you have to be stored in a tabular format. So to check whether the front-end data is correctly stored in back-end or not, it is called back-end validation. Now you all clear how the back-end validation actually work?
Yes, sir.
Clear all of you?
Sir, what about migrate?
Migrate means whatever you saying?
Like it is also using for backend validation. Like when we
Oh,
do migrate.
migration
Yeah, migrate and migration. Yeah.
means the actual process when you comes forward the front-end data to temporarily, suppose in your front-end database or front-end data system, they temporarily
Yeah.
store the data. In which way they transfer the data to the back end for the validating purpose and the stored in a tabular form, that is actually called the migration.
It's also like doing same work, na? It is
Yes,
also
yeah.
validate that.
No, that, yeah, it is corrected, na. This
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
means backend data created, and the process is called migration, migrate. That is what talking.
That process. Okay, okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes. That is he front-end data transferred in the back-end purpose for the sorting in a tabular format. The process is called migration.
Okay.
Okay. So these all are linked up. In SQL server, in Oracle server, in any server, whatever the database work is going on, actually in this process work is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everyone, rest of Shubham, everyone clear about how actually it is done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the last part for the uh, you can say the handler or maintenance, that is called DB architecture. Okay, I'm not writing the full name. Okay, DB architecture. Let's write DB architecture, or whoever working in DB architecture, ARC, use SQL to maintain or manage the database. Okay, so how the database of SQL server working, whoever work with SQL for the database work purpose, first we do the database developer will use SQL creating the database and creating table. Then database test engineer will use SQL to do backend validation. What is backend validation? Step by step, I show you in a pictorial way, that collecting data from the user, then front end, then migrating to the backend in a tabular form they stored. It is called backend validation. Then database architecture, or whoever works with the database architecture, use SQL to maintain and manage the database. So this is the thing, whoever or whatever we use SQL in work process in database. Okay, now coming to the SQL, some constants. Okay, that is the last topic. I think everybody clear how the database is related to SQL, means SQL how work with the developer things in his database.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now some most used SQL commands. Okay, select. Next day I will give you example, means not doing the platform, we are doing in our notebook or copy or anything else. Okay, after that, when we know how to create database, then we perform the command into our system. First of all, we do this type of things, because SQL is actually in a little bit similar to the mathematical query. You get your output, you have to build the query in your own way. Okay, it is very easy. Just you have to practice. Select. What is select do? Extract data
In database.
from database. Okay. Now do insert. Okay, not insert. First of all, create is there. Create. As you know, create will create the table. Okay. Or you can say create will the new database. Create new database. Then insert come. Insert new data. Then update come. I am just writing sequentially. Update your database. That is called manipulating. Okay. Then alter. Okay, so alter have, I think,
Like column related operation.
Modify the structure of
Yes,
Column
yes.
related operation.
existing database.
Alter, you can directly use alter database. Okay. And you can use alter table. For the table purpose, you can modify the particular table, and for the database, you can modify particular DB. Okay, that's the thing. Alter is used to modify. Where it will be used for database, modify the particular database. Where you can use the table, it can modify the particular table. Okay. Create new database and create table. When you use, then it will create the new table. New table. And obviously delete. It will delete the data. And there are some create drop index. Okay. So create index, drop index, just as per naming, create the index and drop index. And drop also work. What drop work for SQL? Drop command, alter, drop, delete. As I told last class, what is the use of drop?
Delete database.
Yes, delete database. Drop is used to delete. Just a second. Drop, delete database. So that's it for today. Okay. We are just about discuss how the SQL looks like. How many types of SQL sublanguages? What is a database? What is a data? What database is related to SQL? How the actual work process is there? The detailed look like schema, table, entities, some of the SQL usage, why we use SQL. Then we discuss about some mostly used command in SQL. Next day, what we do, first of all, we create a table in my copy or in your copy. Okay, just create a table, and then I suppose to tell you, please search this thing. We will practice, and beside that, we will define more command in SQL. Right? Everyone understand today's class? Is there any confusion? Is there any query?
No, sir.
All of you, please respond. Is there any confusion, any query?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's class.